Yeah, good morning, everyone. Um, I'd like to thank you, the Korean Society of Smart Water Grid, for giving me this opportunity to chairing this session. So I'm going to chair the 203, room number 203, three sessions. There are altogether four sessions in here, and we are already lag behind 10 minutes. So I'd like to start my presentation now onwards. So the first presenters of this session is myself. So I'd like to present my presentation of this session. It's my great honor to be here to present my work in this great forum, even in the virtual media. So I'd like to initiate my presentation now onwards. So this is Indira Parajuli I'm representing from the Department of Environment Science, Tribhuvan University. I would like to present about the green revolution via Chure recharging to make the resilient Chure by rainwater harvesting in Churia region of Nepal. These are the contents of my presentation. So if we see the Churia region, that is the youngest hill formed by the deposition of river products of around 4 crore years ago and extended from the Indus River, Pakistan in western part and the Brahmaputra in the eastern part of India. The Churi region that we call it the Shivalik as well. So that it covers 12.78% of the total land of Nepal. And it's formed by the fluvial sedimentary rocks, not fully adjusted. So it is very virgin in category, and all the rivers and rivulets from the Mahabharat range is naturally very sensitive in this region. So before Tarai zone, that we call the range that we call the Churia region, Surya region. So before Tarai, the range that we call the Churia region, if we see in the map here, you can see clearly about the Churia region. So it forms by the developed the rocks formed by the sediments deposited in four land basin, deformed by the thin skin tectonics between the middle Miocene and the middle Paleocene. It extends over the 36 districts of Nepal out of 76 districts in total. The range is divided into the three zones. That means the lower Sivali, that is fine-grained sandy stone, muddy stone, silty stone, and middle Sivali, that is formed by the medium to coarse, and upper Sivali, boulder formed by the boulder, cobble, and the conglomerate with the mud and silts and sand lenses. If you see in the map, that is the orange part is we call is the upper Sivalik. Hello, excuse me. Hello, someone is there? Hello. 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 So I would like to resume my presentation. Sorry for interruption. So if we see about the Churia ecology, Churia hills are located between the mid-hills areas to north and plains in the south of Nepal, where Churia hills perform the critical ecological and socio-cultural functions both in the upstream and downstream. More than 50% of its territory under forest and riverine area, covered by the forest and riverine area. Churia hills reduce its hydrological services like the regulating surface water flows and recharging the groundwater. So if you see in the picture here, in the left part, then there is the gully formation and the very virgin land of Churia. You can see here all major river systems in Nepal pass through the Churia, whether that they can originate from the Himalayan range or the Mahabharat or the Churia range. So before reaching to the Tarai and northern goes to the northern India, they are passing through the Churia belt, the most virgin land of Nepal. So it is very vulnerable. So Churia, if we see the Churia ecosystem, it is the region has the vital role in maintaining the ecosystem of heavily populated Tarai plains downstream, including the groundwater regulation, prevention of siltation, flood control, livelihood services like the fuel, fodder, and construction materials, etc. Tarai Madhya area also is the home of around 50% Nepalese population and is responsible for majority of country's agro production. And around 4 million poor households in the are live in the Churia region that live in the most fragile and marginal areas, and they access the resources from the downstream area. So the Churia region is more vulnerable because of the human encroachment as well. If you see in the small houses and the poor settlements are there in the Churia region, in the sandy top, sand layer, gravel layer, and mud layer. The very fragile topography is we can find in the Churia range. So if we see the climate change structure, this is very prone to the Churia region because of the unsustainable use of natural resources that leads to the land degradation and climate change that impacts on the Churia ecosystem and inhabitants as well. Eastern Himalayas are experiencing 0.01 to 0.04 degrees centigrade per year warming. That is the highest rate in the winter season. And if we see the annual precipitation in Nepal ranging from 1970 to 2012, that indicates the significant increase in the precipitation over middle mountains and hill. That is very near by the Churia region, the western region of Nepal, and over high mountains within the central region. So it shows the monsoon season will become wetter and the dry season will become drier. That increase the livelihood of the heavily precipitation events, seasonal water stress. The people are the facing. So during the monsoon season, the rainfall is heavily heavy in the Churia region as well. So if we see the climate change phenomena, the communities in Churia region increasingly struggle to cope. Extended dry periods throughout the year, significant challenge for the Churia region. The number of consecutive dry days continue to increase and rainfall becomes more irregular that need to find the new ways to cope with the water deficit. So the incidence of flooding events has increased considerably since 1970s. The frequency of flood is projected further increase in the Choria region. So it is very sensible and we need to take care about this region. So unsustainable management of land and forest that results the resulting of the infiltration capacity of the landscape and the river bed rising and river channel change and that cause the flash flood. So the various kinds of climate challenges are there in the Churia region. So because of the increasing in temperature, precipitation, shifting the precipitation pattern and uncertainty, etc. and etc. that cause the seasonal water stress that undermines the variability of the baseline livelihood strategies, extended dry periods and undermines the variability baseline livelihood strategies, and damages the households and the properties as well. The secondary impacts, many secondary impacts are also there because of this climate change phenomena in Churia region that increase the soil erosion driven by the combined effect of climate change and the dry periods. So the in upstream the topsoil and nutrition is going to be lost, and in downstream sedimentation, riverbank cutting, and river bed rise and flood vulnerability is there. So because of the climate change impact, there is the vicious cycles arise in the Churia region that caused by the climate risks and vulnerability. This is expected to steadily undermine the local livelihoods, which is expected to further reinforce the vulnerability with the steadily increasing the climate change impact. That is the vicious cycle that must be broken. So if we fail to break this vicious cycle caused by the climate change and driven to the poverty, then it impacts it has the severe impact to the downstream communities, and it caused the broader food insecurity in context of Nepal. In this context, there are many policies, plans, and programs to conserve this Churia region to regenerate the Churia range of Nepal. There is the Constitution of Nepal 2015 is also concerning about the conservation of the Churia range. Forest Acts is there, National Parks and Wildlife Conservation Act, and many more acts relating to environment protection, watershed management, minerals and mines, biodiversity strategy action plan, and even there is the national land use policy and wetland policies there. And concerning to the Chure conservation, there is the dedicated program is there in context of Nepal, that is the President Chure Conservation Project, and as well as there is the master plan for the Chure conservation that is also speak about the states about the rainwater harvesting, for recharging the Chure, for making the Chure resilient Chure for all. So there is the potentiality of the Chure recharging. There are, if we see the land use and land cover, that most of the land is covered by the forest and followed by the agricultural land, cultivated land in the Churia range. And grassland, grazing land, soft land cover about 1.4 to and 1.6% respectively, but which is going to be deteriorate. And if we see the 1990, 91 and 2010 figure, and mostly the river banks and floodplains area which are lacking of the forest because of the encroachment caused by the human settlement. So there is loss of vegetation around the Chure, and riverbed is it's covered about 5.1 percentage, but riverbed is also going to decline in the Chure region with the passing of the time. So there are 26 vulnerable river system cover about over 702,000 hectare of the land, over 3.2 million people, of which are 51 percentage are women and 77 percentage are considered to have experienced the intergenerational socioeconomic exclusion in the Churia region. If we see the land use land cover map 1990, that we can see here the green belt, greenery portion, and as well as the riverine belt also, river bed also we see here the extended part, but in the it is going to shrink while you see the land cover map 2010. So it is the alarming state of the Churia region that is going to deteriorate. And if we see the climatic features, that is subtropical in the Tarai plains and warm temperate Churia hills above 100,000 meter. It's for the climatic range is depending on the it's for the altitudes. The mean monthly temperature is in between 24 to 27 degrees centigrade. The annual rainfall in 1984 and 2013 at the 30 meteorological station of Nepal, it indicates that the highest amount, nearly 84% of the average annual rainfall, that means the 1833 mm rainfall occur in the rainy season during June and September, followed by the summer and in the winter. So it is this heavily rainfall in this season. If we capture this heavily rainfall in this season, then we can recharge the downstream area as well, including the Churia region, and we regenerate the greenery part as well in the Churia that prevents the further deterioration in the Churia region. But if we fail to do it, then it caused the more deterioration in the Churia region. For this, it is required to do the potentiality assessment of the by the geological mapping, hydrogeological mapping, electrical resistivity survey, and the sensitivity assessment. So watershed and aquifer mapping we should conduct further by using the satellite image, geological maps, topographical maps, drainage analysis, land use analysis, watershed delineation, analysis of the collected data, and finally the watershed and aquifer mapping should be conducted to explore where is the potential place to make the artificial pond for recharging the Churia region. So far there are 286 sites that have been identified to harvest and storage the rainwater, groundwater recharging and use of the groundwater in the Churia region. Pond to be built by constructing the dams and in the base hills of the Churia that will be used for the fisheries, irrigation, and other household purposes. In Vava region, also wells and irrigation canals to be built. Surface water will be controlled by growing the grasses, bamboos, and trees by promoting the greenery in between, so that we can recharge the Churia region. So for this, the electrical resistivity tomography showing the depth of the water table. So we have to find the water table to find how much is the deterioration portion in the Churia region. So that we can find the um, we can find the water table, so that we can build the artificial ponds to recharge this region. So, if we see the rainwater harvesting so far practices in the Churia region of Nepal, there are so many rainwater harvesting ponds have been building, and the previously previously occurred wetland in the Churia region. This is one of the example of the watershed in the eastern Nepal, that is in the Siraha district, and the figure shows the cascading. So cascading of the cascading in the Churia pond in the Churia region, and this is another pond in the western Nepal, and the wetland developed in the middle Tarai region of the Churia region. There is the conservation of the wetlands and the many more ponds in the eastern Nepal, and Oxbow Lake formed uh, near the confluence of the Muskola, and that lies in the far western Nepal. That is the water tank construction collect to water distribution through the pipelines. The people are community people are collecting the water during the monsoon season, and then they just store the water in the tank and supply for their household use in the Churia region. Some parts of the fractured aquifers are here in the Churia region, in between the rock surface area that lies in the midwestern part of Nepal, and some of the channels in the mini river bed, the riverine bed, the people are using the water for their household purpose, and the colluvium aquifer in the Vava region. Is there, so it also needs to be protected. So it is waiting for the protection by artificial, making the artificial pond, and for making it more deeper, and then so the cascading pond in the mountain aquifer observed in many part of the Churia region. So this is one of the example of the sandstone aquifer in the southeastern Nepal. In the sandy part also there is the aquifer. We can build the aquifer, and then we can promote this aquifer into the large pond area, so that you can collect the water for in the dry season to fulfill the water stress in the Churia region. Some of the factor aquifer are also there in the Churia region, and conglomerate aquifer also there in the Churia region, in the southeastern Nepal, and wetland in the eastern Nepal. Many wetlands are there in the Churia region. This type of wetlands are also, it's going to extinct, so it also needs for the protection. So in the currently there is identifying the many recharging pond is there in many GPS location in the province number 1 and province number 2 of Nepal. Nepal near the Tangting River, nearby the river corridor, and the Ratu River, which is rise in the province number. So there is so in this context, we I can summarize this session geographically. Churia belt is very sensitive zone. So the sensitivity of the Churia should be known by the political party, policymaker, federal, provincial, local governments, and community agents to protect the Churia range. The landsliding, river crossing, surface and groundwater crisis, deforestation, haphazard settlement, mining, quarrying activity, etc. are the positive agent of the Churia destruction. So among these, the human-induced factors are the more prominent than the natural one we can see in the Churia region. So for the recommendation, both surface and underground water table assessment to be done promptly, and build the artificial cascading pond to maintain the water table in the Churia region as well as the downstream area, and natural resources mapping of in the Churia region for its sustainable use, and greenery should be promoted within the Churia region. So the urgent action need to be taken are the landslide management and control. That is the most prominent factor that is deteriorating the Churia region, and prevent the river cutting and management, conservation and the recharging of the dry aquifers that I showed many dry aquifers and existing aquifers in the within the Churia region, management of the water streams and river within the Churia range, and preparation of the artificial ponds and increase the underground water table, and apply the controlled mining and quarrying activities, promote greenery and bioengineering practices in the Churia region, and manage the uncontrolled settlements that expands in the Churia, very marginal area of the Churia belt. There is the expansion of the poor people household that should be managed, and that should be settled in the another the safe area. So there are the urgent action need to be taken to prevent the Churia destruction. So these are all about my presentation. Thank you for attention. And if there is query regarding my presentation, I would be happy to share with you. And thank you. Thank you for joining. Is there any queries? Hello. Hello.
Really, yeah, really sorry.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Good.
available. Yeah.
Two
So
presenters.
nobody,
Okay.
nobody
Yeah.
show up.
They were not join their session, so I'd like to.
Uh-huh.
It's time to present your work. So I'd like
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
invite you for a presentation. Now
Yeah,
it's
yes,
your
yes,
turn. Please go ahead.
yes, yes. Please wait. 음, 아, 차님 잠깐만요. 근데 좀 미팅을 하고 있어가지고. 좀 갈게요. 끝나고. So Dr. Indra, so please wait. I should setting something.
Okay. Everything is okay? Mr. Cho? Yeah, I'm not hearing you. Not hearing you. Are you hearing me? Okay, okay. Thank you for your for your present here. I'm grateful to be. I'm grateful as to the Korean Society of Smart Water Grid for giving me chairing for this session, even though there is no no participants present here.
So now
Oh,
I'm here.
it's now okay. Maybe
Yes,
you
yes.
can present.
No. So
No?
I think, yeah, the device is just I mean, this is not the laptop, but this device could not share my presentation file. So as I told you, I will personally make the Zoom link to share your presentation and my presentation. Is it okay? Beyond
Yeah,
this
it's
session.
okay. But I already present my work here.
Mhm.
Maybe recording is there. You can download from the recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So
already
even though,
did.
I did in my turn, and so I called the next participants to me, next presenter to me, but no one available. So I'm
Yeah.
waiting for you. But
Yeah, I'm really
in
sorry.
which one
Yeah.
also it's not working. That means it's okay. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you. Anyway,
there,
thank you for.
there was no participants for this session today.
Yeah. Only the one, maybe the 203 room. There is one assistant is there. She or he, I don't know. I don't know. I did not see their face, but she talked me. Now,
Yes. Thank you. And I'm really sorry again, and email you to share my
okay, maybe
presentation.
it's better to tell other participants as well to mail, maybe sharing their
Yeah.
presentation via email so that we can know our work to each other. So it's nice. Anyway, it happens because it's a
Yes.
virtual
Yeah.
one. So
Okay, let's close this session. Yeah.
okay, thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Bye
Yeah, I
bye.
will email you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.